Hello YouTube, it is me Raina and I am back. And I just wanted to ask this, if you're keeping up with my videos, I'm talking about Marvel and DC and everything. And I have not been keeping up or been talking about the whole HBO Max issues and whatever. I don't want to get into that right now, but I will mention parts of that. And I want to know, is it too late for DC? If you have not known, there's a big merger coming with Discovery and WB. And the new people over at Discovery put DC as a top priority. They put Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman as top franchises. So I'm like, okay, good. You got the trio there. And they are mentioning yet again, they got a 10-year plan when it comes to doing their cinematic universe. And they also had Harry Potter there, but I'm not going to mention that. I'm just going to talk about DC in this video. And like I said in my title, is it too late for the 10-year plan? And I would say probably not, but then probably yes. I'm kind of on the fence with this because, they already did their 10-year plan, because next year will be the 10th year anniversary of Man of Steel. Man of Steel next year will come out 10 years ago. And it's the only solo Superman film that Henry Cavill has done. Yes, of course, he appeared in other movies, but, for that to be the only solo Superman movie in the past 10 years is really crazy to me. And how much time has passed, and look, where his career has gone. He's, The Witcher, and, they lost him to that show on Netflix. And, the whole thing with the Flash movie, like if you see my previous videos, you know where I stand on that. And a lot of other things are in disarray. They canceled Batgirl movie. We don't know the status of certain projects. I mean, they're still doing the Joker sequel, which is not attached to this universe. That's a separate thing. And then also the Batman movie with Matt Reeves. That's his own thing, and they just signed him up for a contract, so they're going to do his stuff, his Penguin TV show, but still it's separate. And what the lead of Discovery, what's his name, David Zaveloff, whatever his name is, he said he wants to do another 10 years, and he wants to prioritize DC and had to be on the big screen, and he wants it to be like Marvel. And he verbally said, I want to find a Kevin Feige. So they want an interconnected cinematic universe. And it seems yet again, I just don't trust it, because they've said this so many times over the past 10 years that they've already spent on this universe, and it does not have worked. And I'm pondering on why it hasn't been working, and why they should have really kind of been a stable and good competitor against Marvel, especially around when Man of Steel came out, because that was at the beginning. I mean, yes, the Avengers in 2012 did big numbers, but Marvel was still kind of in its infancy. That this is pre-Guardians, where they were like, past the point of no return. And, they didn't have, Spider-Man. Disney did not own 20th Century Fox. They didn't have Fantastic Four and the Mutants or the X-Men. X-Men movies were still being made over at Fox. So Marvel still had their kind of lower tier, not really so popular characters being their main players. Meanwhile, DC or Warner Brothers owned they've always had their characters. They've had every single character. They didn't have them scattered at different studios like Marvel did. So really, honestly, DC for the longest time has had the upper hand over Marvel, and could have very, swiftly and professionally cleared them out the water a long time ago. And now the reason why I feel like they can still do stuff and be successful, but I just don't know if an interconnected universe is what they need to do. And the reason why I feel like it's too late is because now Marvel does have Spider-Man. They do have Fantastic Four. They do have X-Men. And they're really going to be getting to their bag, and they're really going to ramp up. And they're still going to own the box office. And Marvel has made, household names out of unknown characters that no one has known about. People use Guardians as an example, but it's so true. No one knew who those characters were. If you did not read comics, no one knew who those characters were, and they are household names, And the fact that Marvel is not afraid to showcase characters who are new or who didn't get their chance to be live action, like basically a good chunk of the MCU is having a lot of these characters for the first time being in live action. Meanwhile, DC is on like their 11th like Batman and Superman, iterations. We've seen those characters time and time again. The same thing with the Joker, most definitely, kind of with, Harley Quinn, even though the character to me is really coming into her own now with the interpretations in animation and in live action with Margot Robbie and everything. And now allegedly in this sequel with Lady Gaga, who knows who she's playing. But, so yeah, it's very interesting, and like I said in my previous videos, DC has some of the most iconic characters, whether it be the first generation or even legacy characters. And the fact that Marvel just now is getting into legacy characters and they are really popping off, it shows how far behind DC really is, and they're kind of still, in my opinion, playing catch up. And I feel like once again, when they start their 10-year journey again with the Flash movie being their reset, I fear they're going to rush again. And can they get the cast together? Because, like I said, they haven't been able to keep the actors neither. In the Peacemaker finale, like they blocked out everybody's face except for Jason Momoa. The end credit scene of the first Shazam movie, you got Superman there, but the head is not seen. They haven't been able to keep it consistent when it comes to, certain cameos or having the actors. The MCU had, Robert Downey Jr. for 10 years. His character is done. All the, some of the older Avengers are either, gone or still here, but then passing the torch to their legacy characters. Like right now, She-Hulk is on, and, we're just being introduced to her because now, Bruce has been there for a while, and we get to meet an extension of him and his family. We got, Kamala Khan, and we got Riri Williams coming up, Kate Bishop, all these characters coming up in these next few TV shows and movies that are going to be iconic, that are going to, people are going to fall in love with them because Marvel is a proven formula, whether you like it or not. It's proven itself for a very long time now. With these characters that were not household names really before the MCU. And DC, like I said, has had way more of a grip on pop culture previous, 2008, before the first Iron Man movie came out, than Marvel has ever had. They've had characters here and there, but not as consistent as Batman nor Superman, even Wonder Woman with her TV show. People love Linda Carter still. So it's very interesting to see them kind of floundering in these past 10 years. And, it's interesting. It's still interesting to me, even though this is kind of like the same thing I've been saying about DC for the past couple years, but still it just surprises me. But now that it's confirmed that we, in the MCU, they're in an era of like having all their toys in one box now. They are really going to be an unstoppable force, and it's going to be interesting to see how DC stacks up against them, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to work. And also, of course, we had the shows on the CW that have done almost, if not all, the big events and certain storylines that are famous for those particular characters. So what are your thoughts on this, YouTube? Leave a comment down below, and bye.